Hello my dear students, today let us discuss about the topic cell signaling via G protein linked cell surface receptors. Cells send signals to each other that serve to coordinate cell functions throughout the body. For example, nerve cells signal muscle cells to contract, and certain endocrine cells signal liver cells to release glucose into the blood. When a signal arrives at a target cell, the cell must have mechanism of signal reception to detect the signal. It must also have mechanism of signal transduction by which it modifies its intracellular activities in response to the extracellular signal. Proteins, including both enzymes and other types of proteins, play key role in both of these processes. G protein linked receptors form the largest family of cell surface receptors and are found in all eukaryotes. Next comes extracellular signals initiate their effects by binding to receptor proteins. Extracellular signaling molecules such as neurotransmitters or hormones initiate their actions on a cell by binding with certain protein molecules of the cell called receptors. A molecule that binds specifically and non-covalently to a receptor protein is considered a ligand of the receptors. Ligand binding occurs at a specific receptor site on the receptor protein and results in a change in the molecular conformation of the protein, a process that sets in motion a further response by the cells. Receptors may be categorized into four functional classes. Number 1, ligand-gated channels. Number 2, G protein coupled receptors. Number 3, enzyme or enzyme-linked receptors. And number 4, intracellular receptors. Receptors in the first three categories resides in the cell membrane. This prevalence of receptors at the cell surface reflects the fact that most signaling molecules cannot enter cells. For the most part, signaling molecules are proteins or other hydrophilic molecules that are unable to pass through the hydrophobic interior of the lipid bilayer of the cell membrane. Instead of entering cells, these signaling molecules bind to membrane surface receptors, which initiate their intracellular effects. Only hydrophobic or very small signaling molecules can enter a cell at meaningful rates through the cell membrane. Once inside, such molecules bind to intracellular receptors. Now let us discuss the properties of the four principal classes of receptors that we have identified. Number 1, ligand-gated channel. A ligand-gated channel is a cell membrane protein that acts as both a receptor and a channel. This sort of channel opens to create a passage for specific solutes, typically inorganic ions, through a cell membrane when the receptor site or sites on the protein bind to specific signal molecules. Ligand-gated channels function mostly in the transmission of nerve impulse across synapses, the narrow spaces between interacting nerve cells or between nerve and muscle cells. The signaling molecules that carry signals across synapses are called neurotransmitters. When a neurotransmitter is released by one cell into a synaptic gap, it diffuses across the gap to the receiving cell. The response of the receiving cell is for ligand-gated channels in the cell membrane to open because of binding of the neurotransmitter to the channels. The open channel permit increased flux of inorganic ions through the cell membrane, thereby changing the voltage difference across the membrane. Next comes G-protein coupled receptors. G-protein coupled receptors in cell membrane mediate cellular responses to many hormones and neurotransmitters, as well as many responses of sensory neurons. When G-protein coupled receptors in the cell membrane of a cell is activated by binding its ligand, it activates a separate cell membrane protein known as a G-protein. The activated G-protein may directly exert an intracellular effect, or more commonly it interacts with still another cell membrane protein, usually an enzyme. It shows that a distinctive intracellular signaling compound is synthesized in the cytoplasm of the cell by the catalytic activity of the enzyme. A major difference between G-protein coupled receptors and the ligand-gated channels is that, in general, no sort of chemical passes through the cell membrane in the case of G-protein mediated receptors. In the most common type of such reception, one type of chemical brings the cell signaling message to the extracellular side of the cell membrane, and a second different chemical is produced on the intracellular side to carry the signal onward to the interior of the cell. The molecules such as hormones or neurotransmitters that bring signals to the cell membrane from the outside are known as first messengers. The intracellular signaling molecules that carry the signal to the interior of the cell are called second messengers. The action of G-protein mediated mechanism in the cell membrane is analogous to a relay race in which the first messenger brings the message to a certain point, but they can go no further and must activate a second messenger for the message to go on. An example is provided by the action of epinephrine or adrenaline on a liver cell. Epinephrine, the first messenger, binds to a G-protein coupled receptor in the cell membrane, which initiates steps resulting in intracellular synthesis of the second messenger 3', 5' cyclic adenosine monophosphate, means cyclic AMP. Cyclic AMP then activates the intracellular responses to the epinephrine signal. Next comes enzyme or enzyme link receptors. Enzyme or enzyme link receptors are cell membrane proteins that either are enzymes themselves or that interact directly with enzyme proteins when activated. They are a more structurally and functionally diverse class of receptors than the two types of cell membrane receptors. As in the case of G-protein mediated reception, molecules or ions do not pass through the cell membrane in this sort of reception, and enzyme or enzyme link receptors often activates the formation of second messengers. Enzyme or enzyme link receptor is a protein that is itself an enzyme. Such a protein is composed of an extracellular receptor region, a membrane spanning region, and an intracellular catalytic region. Binding of the extracellular signaling molecule to the receptor site activates the catalytic site at the other end of the molecule. Next comes signaling via G protein-linked cell surface receptors. For many hormones, occupancy of the plasma membrane receptor initiates a sequence of reactions within the membrane bilayer. Nearly 20 families of coupling molecules known as G proteins functionally link various receptors to nearby effector molecules. The latter in turn generate second messengers that mediate the hormone's intracellular actions. G proteins are trimer. Each has a unique alpha subunit but a beta-gamma dimeric subunit that is similar among family members. The alpha subunits bind to receptors, to effector molecules, and to guanosine diphosphate GDP and guanosine triphosphate GTP. The beta-gamma dimeric subunit may serve to attach the G protein to the plasma membrane. In its inactive state, the G protein is bound to GTP. Creation of a hormone receptor complex causes the appropriate adjacent G protein alpha subunit to bind to the coupled receptor. The G protein then releases its bound GDP and binds instead to GTP. The displacement of GDP by GTP activates the G protein by causing the alpha subunit to dissociate from both the hormone receptor and from its own beta-gamma subunit. The alpha subunit GTP complex then moves to and binds to a nearby membrane effector molecule such as the enzyme adenyl cyclase and phospholipase C or to an ion channel carrier protein. The activity of the effector molecule is either stimulated or inhibited by the specific alpha subunit GTP complex. In this process, the alpha subunit catalyzes the hydrolysis of its bound GTP to GDP and inorganic phosphate. The alpha subunit GDP complex then reassociates with its beta-gamma dimer and thereby reconstitutes the original inactive G protein. The latter is again free to interact with another hormone-coupled receptor molecule and start another cycle. This coupling cycle is repeated with the G protein alpha subunit settling between receptor and effector molecules until the hormone dissociates from its receptor or is internalized and degraded. Magnesium ion is required for the G protein cycle, which is driven by the energy derived from the hydrolysis of the high energy terminal POP bond of GTP to yield GTP. Because the effector generates many intracellular second messenger molecules, the G protein mechanism of signal transduction amplifies greatly the original extracellular hormone signal. Next comes activation and inhibition of adenyl cyclase. G protein couple hormone receptor complexes to at least 3 main effector systems: adenylyl cyclase cyclic AMP system, the calcium calmodulin system, and the membrane phospholipase phospholipid system. The adenylyl cyclase cyclic AMP system was the first to be described and initiated the concept of a second messenger. The plasma membrane enzyme adenylyl cyclase catalyzes formation of cyclic AMP from adenosine triphosphate ATP with magnesium ion as cofactor. A stimulatory G protein GS therefore increases intracellular cyclic AMP levels, whereas inhibitory G protein GI decreases cyclic AMP levels. An increase in cyclic AMP stimulates the activation of protein kinase A. This in turn activates a number of enzymes in numerous metabolic pathways by phosphorylating their individual enzyme kinases. Alternatively, cyclic AMP stimulated phosphorylation may deactivate other enzymes. Thus, after hormone binding to receptor, this system generates a cascade of effects that ultimately changes the flux of metabolites in the cell. In the end, either the storage or the release of an important metabolite may be facilitated. Activation and the deactivation of reciprocal pathways by the same hormone can augment the result. For example, by simultaneously inhibiting the release pathway while stimulating the storage pathway, adenylyl cyclase and the cyclic AMP are ubiquitously distributed. Therefore, the specificity of enzyme responses to a particular hormone also may depend on the compartmentalization of increase in cyclic AMP within the cell or on the proximity of the activated adenylyl cyclase to target enzyme. Cyclic AMP may also act as a hormone second messenger by altering gene expression. Target DNA molecules have a cyclic AMP regulatory element CRE that binds a protein transcription factor known as cyclic AMP response element binding protein CREB. Cyclic AMP may also act as hormone second messenger by altering gene expression. They activate protein kinase A. The catalytic subunit of the enzyme is then free to be translocated into the nucleus, where it phosphorylates CREB. The phosphorylated CREB can bind to CRE in a complex with another transcription protein, such as activated transcription factor 1. The result is to stimulate or inhibit RNA polymerase and transcription of the target gene and thereby to stimulate or inhibit synthesis of a specific protein. The action of cyclic AMP are terminated by hydrolysis. This reaction is catalyzed by the enzyme phosphodiesterase. Because the activity of phosphodiesterase is also modulated by hormones via a G protein. The level of cyclic AMP is under dual regulation. Two hormones can function antagonistically if one stimulates adenyl cyclase and the other stimulates phosphodiesterase. From the above discussion, it is concluded that extracellular signals such as hormones initiate their actions on cell by binding non-covalently with specific receptor proteins. Most extracellular signaling molecules are chemically unable to enter the cells because they are hydrophilic or otherwise unable to pass through the hydrophobic lipid interior of the cell membrane. The receptors for these molecules are cell membrane proteins that fall into three principal functional classes: ligand-gated channels, G protein-coupled receptors, and enzyme-linked receptors. Extracellular signaling molecules that readily pass through cell membrane, such as steroid hormones, thyroid hormones, and nitric oxide, have receptors that belong to the fourth functional class, intracellular receptors. Thank you all.